Oh, hey everyone. Thanks for joining me. Hopefully you can hear okay. And today I'm excited to talk about how to get referrals from realtors as fast as 6 weeks. And today I've got a special guest with me who's going to talk about how automated prospecting has helped her to speed up that process and overcome a lot of the common headaches and issues that most loan officers are faced with when they're marketing to realtors, whether it's just getting agents to give them the time of day, being open-minded to a conversation, or just finding realtors that want your help. So if you happen to be struggling in those areas, you're looking for a unique, fresh way of getting more realtors drawn to you, and better yet, getting referrals from them, make sure to jump over to 6weekreferrals.com and download my free report to see what all this great stuff is about. So my special guest today is Sasha Travasos. I appreciate you joining me. Glad to have you here, Sasha.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
And how long? Give me a quick background on your experience in the industry.
So I've been in finance since I was pretty much 16 years old. Started off in the equities market. Did some things in between, having a family and all that fun stuff. I've been in the mortgage business specifically for 7 years now. I have always been on a team, not too interested in originating the loans, but loving the structure, the puzzle pieces, fitting all that together. And I decided to go out on my own in November of this year. So I was very conscious not to go after any previous associations I'd had, out of respect for my previous colleagues and the team we were on. That's not how I wanted to operate. I wanted to start my business on my own, shall we say, and luckily I found you guys.
Well, tell me, before you automated your prospecting, what was it like prospecting realtors?
It's not fun, to be honest with you. I had started with my circle of people that I knew but I hadn't worked with previously. And the problem is, once you jump companies, you all of a sudden there's a little hesitation, I think, on people that have known where you were before and that you're somewhere new. Like, oh my gosh, they're going to learn the system and there's going to be some headaches and there could be this and there could be that. So it was a little disappointing that I didn't get immediate, like, oh, great, can't wait, starting, responses. And so I kind of figured, the best thing I can do is start from scratch. The best thing I can do is start with people that didn't necessarily know me before. And the problem is, when you're prospecting realtors, is they get, I don't know how many calls a day from lenders, from title agents, from insurance people, from you name it. They are getting solicited all day long. And so a phone call was never necessarily answered. A lot of voicemail, no return phone calls. And it just was the numbers game. I felt like that annoying person that does the robocalls that I want to hang up on every time I pick up my phone, frankly.
That is a great analogy, a great example. And as that all was happening, how'd that make you feel?
It's very easy to get disheartened very quickly, because again, you're offering a good service. I know I'm a good loan officer. I know our company's amazing. I know I can, have a file completely underwritten and approved in a week, but I have to be able to tell people that. I have to get to the point where I actually discuss that. And so not getting that far is very disappointing, very kind of soul crushing at the end of the day. You try and push through it, and you can push through it for a couple of hours, but I try and time block and do, working on my business that generates money, that side of it, for a certain amount of time every single day. And that was just energy depleting, frankly.
So what made you decide to automate your prospecting?
I loved the idea of the LinkedIn platform, using the LinkedIn platform, because I was never that keen on Facebook business because for me, Facebook has become too politicized and too much advertising. And I personally use Facebook for family and friends and, personal things. So although I have a Facebook page for my business, and I have done a little bit of advertising when I have, interesting things to talk about, I don't like that platform for professional. I just don't think it's professional. How about, that's quite simple. Whereas LinkedIn, people seem to be very conscious to keep it professional on there, which I love because I don't want to hear on that platform about your kids' birthdays, your pet's new trick, your political ideas, products that you've used. They're all great things, and I want to know that stuff, but on a different platform, not during again, it comes down to the time blocking thing, the work day, especially when you're work independently and you're work for yourself. It's very easy for us to go down that black hole of social media, and then all of a sudden 3 hours have passed and you've accomplished nothing, you've wasted time, and completely off on a tangent from what you originally wanted to do. So being on LinkedIn for me was a great kind of teaser, shall we say. Like, would this work?
I love the comparison you give, because it amazes me how you open up Facebook and that newsfeed just sucks you in. I mean, I can look up and 20 minutes have passed, and
right.
It may not seem like a lot, but it's like, where did that time go? Now, in the couple of months that you've automated your prospecting, can you kind of just give us a feel, an idea of quantify or measure what kind of impact that has had for you? How many realtors you've been able to meet or connect with?
It's been huge, honestly. It's been huge because it's an unexpected way. No one's doing it right now. Everyone loves the idea of getting more connections and more networking on LinkedIn, but then using that as a soft approach, a soft touch right off the bat, and having the automated follow-up so that I don't have to do it. Again, it's about leveraging my time. I'm an economist at heart, so my finite resource is time. And this is very much a time saver for me. So I try and meet with 2 realtors a week from it that I get from responses that I get. That's leveled off a little bit the busier I am right now because rates have gone down. So I can't, and the problem is also I'm not particularly good at, when I go meet someone, keeping it to a 30-minute meeting. Because if we get along and we've got chemistry, we'll sit there for an hour and a half. And I want that relationship with my realtors. I want to have a personal connection. I want them to have that confidence in me, and I want to have that confidence in them. Because believe it or not, there's realtors I've said no to, which was very interesting, and a new thing for me. So
I can't imagine too many loan officers being in that position saying no. I mean, most of these guys out there are relying on 3 to 5 relationships, for their livelihood. And it sounds like this has been a game changer for you.
Definitely. I have right now, I would say, about half a dozen good relationships with realtors. I want to build that to between 10 and 15. Again, that's going to be over a time period because I also have to leverage my time on the actual business I'm doing. But, when the approach through LinkedIn is very soft. It's very subtle. It's very classy. There's nothing aggressive about it. And I've had really just one, maybe 2, but one really aggressive reply back. Like, what do you want? Like, what do you mean a quick call? It's like, well, just to see if we're compatible. We'd like to work together. And the next response was something like, well, that's your pitch? I'm like, oh my gosh, this woman just doesn't get it. But more importantly, she doesn't know me. And, I live in San Diego. San Diego's like this big and everybody knows everybody. And if this is how she treats me when she doesn't even know me, imagine how she's going to treat me when she does know me and she is more familiar with me. And how is she going to treat my clients? I found it astounding. And so it was very much like, thank you. No, that wasn't my pitch. And thank you for your time. Goodbye. And I just don't want that in my life. Those are the time suckers that you spend 80% of your time on and for 20% of your results. And that just doesn't work.
If you guys like what Sasha's saying about the time suckers and being able to have choice, I mean, the word that comes to my mind with what Sasha is shared in terms of her experiences, she's empowered, which, I mean, that isn't something most loan officers really ever truly experience. Go over to 6weekreferrals.com and download that report. Sasha, what would you say has been maybe the biggest unexpected benefit of this whole experience? I mean, it's only been a couple of months. Technically, you're still getting started, but it's amazing the impact this has had for you. What was maybe something unexpected that's come out of this?
I think the ease in which I am able to talk to these people the very first time I call them. I did not expect to, I guess because we've kind of had exchanged a couple of emails. So even it was just like, okay, great, call me in 30 minutes. And I think the other nice part is because I've connected with them on LinkedIn, I always make a point of going to their LinkedIn profile before I have a conversation with them and looking at their personal details that they have on there. Where did they go to school? What are their interests? What hobbies do they have? Or what nonprofits do they support? What are some of the companies they've worked with? Just to see if there's going to be any personal connection that we may have, any related interests we might have. So it then became so easy to talk to them afterwards because I immediately went to, oh, hey, you went to USD where I went to college, or I don't know, there's been a couple that have been really, it's again, opening that door, making it easier to have that personal connection.
Yeah, I love it. What a great way to initiate a conversation and helping put someone at ease and seeing the value of looking at someone's LinkedIn profile. Again, another strong contrast to a different experience compared to to Facebook. And a lot more to this than just LinkedIn that people keep hearing over and over. And again, go to 6weekreferrals.com to really get the full scoop, the whole skinny on this. Sasha, from your experience with all this, we all have limited beliefs, and our job as humans is to challenge those limited beliefs to overcome and have breakthroughs. Are you in a position to talk about maybe a limited belief you may have had before automating your prospecting till now, a breakthrough that you've had that maybe you thought differently beforehand?
Limited belief.
Give you some examples of limited beliefs.
Yeah, give me some hints.
These are the ones I'll commonly see or hear. I don't know if these will necessarily apply to you or not, but a common one is I can only work with realtors that I meet face-to-face. Realtors won't give me a chance because I'm just not experienced. Someone else already dominates our area. I'm not a natural salesperson. Realtors only use their in-house lender, or realtors are only going to refer you their garbage, or realtors just aren't open-minded. They're already loyal to someone else.
Well, I think that the loyalty side of things is an interesting thing because I don't approach realtors asking for their deal, frankly, because I don't think that ever works. Because if you're a realtor, you're more than likely going to have lenders that you already work with and you already know. However, I also know that there's a lot of lenders that want the easy deal, that want the one that's just click, 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 done. And especially in this market where rates are great And refis, people are churning accounts that have, refied 18 months ago. And so they don't necessarily need that extra business, or they don't want that more difficult file. So I think a limited belief is just that everyone is absolutely solid in their relationship with their lender. I know for a fact that realtors don't very often actually use their in-house lenders for various reasons. Again, there's some in-house lenders that are phenomenal, but there's others that, again, want that easy deal. Why bother with a difficult client who you're going to have to strategize for the next 4 months to get their credit fixed, to get whatever it is done to get the deal done? And realtors at the end of the day want their clients taken care of, like we all do. So
what's the best advice you could share with your peers? It's a day and night result here that you've achieved, going from what you described at the top of our conversation with the headaches and grief that you were experiencing, to where now just your experience in that first phone call is completely opposite. What's the best advice you can share with loan officers about working with realtors, marketing to realtors, just realtors in general?
It's about authenticity. That's really what I would say. I'm not a hard salesperson, and that's why I wasn't in originating before now. I just got to a point where I was not happy with the teams that I ended up being on. No, that's not true. I was happy with the teams I was on, but you get to a point when you want more and you want to control your destiny more. Mm-hmm. You want to control the ebb and flow of your business, or whatever it may be. And whatever I did moving forward at that point, I wanted to make sure I did it with authenticity and integrity. And I think that that's really the biggest thing you can do as a lender. Give for the sake of giving. Don't give to receive. I send things out to realtors every single week for them to market to their people. I send things out on Mondays. I send things out on Fridays, because Fridays they're going into the weekends showing their borrowers stuff, and they'll just be little snippets of articles that they may go, oh, Sasha sent me that. This is something that I can forward to my client to ease that fear. And then same thing on Mondays. Those clients know that, they've maybe seen a house and that realtor knows they might be interested, but all of a sudden I'm right there Monday morning sending them little snippets of either an article or an email or an invitation to something. So I think the authenticity, I think just giving to give, being very transparent with realtors is huge. I have something, where a deal going where I think the borrowers might be trying to get the realtor out of the situation because they're maybe afraid of the buyer's fees or buyer's commission, having a buyer's agent. And I don't believe in that either. I'm providing a service and they are providing a service. So my client may not be super happy with those fees, but I kind of explain it to them like they're earning a living. This is their job. This is their paycheck. And they are doing you a service. So that kind of integrity, I think, is really important too.
Very cool. Very cool. What has all this helped you to achieve up to this point? You mentioned a half dozen relationships you have going with realtors now. Probably sounds like it could be more, but you're conscientious of your time and the other hats you got to wear in the business.
Right.
What other achievements can be quantified that have come out at this point?
Oh gosh, lots. I mean, I have things in the pipeline, honestly, that you and I have talked about privately off camera, which I won't mention. But things that really have the potential to change my life. Being there at the right time, I definitely, my faith guides me in a lot of what I do and a lot of how I react to things. And I think that also guides these relationships in a certain way. So there's things that are really in the pipeline that, for me, that may not be immediate. And again, I don't think our business is always immediate. We may want it to be. We all want it to be, actually. But the reality is that I want to be someone's lender for life. I want to be partnered with a realtor for the length of their career. And that stuff doesn't happen overnight. So
How much has this helped build your personal brand, so to speak? How, you're growing this list week by week by week, and you're staying in touch, whether it's by phone or doing a lot of email marketing. Are you noticing your reputation starting to grow more, or just recognition of your name more so?
I don't know, because to be honest, I mean, you're going to just die when I tell you this, but I have only just imported my list into my CRM because that's how busy I am. Like I know I need to do that marketing, and I will, but I'm just kind of like one thing at a time, really. So I think that, brand recognition for me is going to be, I think, based much more on word to word, person to person recognition. So, but in terms of the, overall marketing for the whole list, I haven't even started.
Which is really,
imagine once that starts, like,
cool.
Holy cow.
Yeah. There's a limited belief that you can't get business from realtors that you meet for the first time.
Right.
That's a huge limited belief. Well, I can't get business till they get to know me, and that takes time, and you've completely blown that out of the water. So
yeah.
Very cool with that. Well, Sasha, thanks so much for sharing, your experience and how automated prospecting has really helped you. Again, if you're stuck, if you're trying to figure out how to turn your business around, how to get that momentum, realtors, if they've frustrated you or you've had a lot of bad experiences, the good news is there is a better way. So go to 6weekreferrals.com, download the free report, and you'll begin to see what some of the small group of loan officers I work with, the change, just not in their business, but you can see it in their smile, in their faces. We are rejoicing because there can be a more positive outcome with realtors. Sasha, so thanks so much again for joining me today.
You're so welcome, Jeff. Bye.